Welcome back to the Freedom Focused Photography Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Begley, and we are back for part 2 of our most common thoughts photographers have that actually block any success in their business. That's much too long of a title. But anyway, we're back with Heather Lahtinen. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. One of my favorite things to do is look at how our thoughts are creating our results and our businesses, and how everything becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And whatever you think, your brain will look for ways to prove you right. Your brain wants you to be right. So if you have a thought, your brain is going to scan your environment and find evidence to support that thought, because I repeat, your brain wants you to be right. So we wanted to take all of these thoughts and just, shine a light on them so we can maybe choose different, better thoughts. But when I really started to get this concept, Nicole, that like I could change everything in my life just by changing my thoughts. Well, first of all, I'll admit I didn't believe it. I thought that's just like way too crazy.
Yeah.
But then I started to get the evidence. I thought, why not try this out? Why not try to have some better thoughts and just, see what happens? And I'm telling you, it's even been in recent months and weeks where this has really been solidified for me, is that like, if I think a thought, my brain is going to scan my environment and to prove me right. So I decide, this is new. I don't even think I told you this. I decided to start thinking that there's so much extra money. There's so much abundance that everywhere I look, there's just extra of everything. So previously my thought was, I always have enough money. Money is, money flows. I always have enough. And so I did. I had enough money.
Yeah.
I paid the taxes. I paid the bills. It came in, it went out, all good. And that was great because that was actually an upgrade for me.
Yeah. Belief ladder.
Right. But I'm telling you, within the last week, this has been less than a week, I shifted to, oh, there's extra money. There's a ton of extra money. Look at all this extra money. And this is probably a story for another podcast, so I'll save it. But I actually had this revealed to me. I told you about it a couple of days ago, where there was extra money in an account, that I didn't realize was going to be there. And I just laughed. I laughed at myself. And you know what? I laughed all the way to the bank. I was like, look, there's extra money.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about that. We can go high level here with you've in the past been triggered, maybe. It's been challenging. Tax time has been challenging for you when there's big unexpected bills. And or when you need to replace a car, even when, like you said, you have enough money. It's good. You got money in the bank. But yeah, it is this ever-growing money mindset shift that it never actually ends. But
Never.
anyway, I'm super proud of you because you got your tax bill. You had the money in the account, had some leftover money, and it was like, oh. And you wasn't even before, because before you always had the money to pay your tax bill too. It's not like you ever had to go on like some sort of tax payment plan. But your energy in the past was definitely more of like, I can't believe I have to pay this.
Yes.
And okay, don't get us wrong. It's not like Heather's like, yes, I can't wait to pay this big check to the government that spends it so wisely. But I've noticed a big shift. So
thank you. And you know what, Nicole? It's only taken me 21 years. So for anyone that hears me or sees what Nicole and I do and think, oh my gosh, it must be easy or awesome for them, it has taken me 2 decades. Okay. So
yeah,
it's been a process.
Yeah. No, and all of us, I mean, we all have different versions and different layers, and 2.0, 3.0. I think I'm on Nicole 7.0 at this point.
For sure.
That it just is a constant evolution of examining where these thoughts are coming from and questioning them and changing them. So,
and that's actually, when you think about it, I mean, I was down on myself a little bit that it's taken so long. But when I had this new thought that there's extra money, I actually got really, really excited and hopeful. Like, wait, I'm still shifting this. That means there's still more awesomeness left to like uncover, that I'm just going to continue to keep getting better. And it's like never done. That used to kind of like, I don't know, bother me. Maybe I was looking at it from a scarcity standpoint, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. We are only going to get better from here.
I love it. I love it. And actually, that brings up a thought or something I want you guys to notice, and that you can tell if thoughts are helping or hindering you based on how they feel.
Yep.
So if I were to say, like, oh my God, there's always extra money, but I feel tightness in my chest and I feel just like, oh, there's not like, I'm not ready for that thought yet. Maybe there's a little ladder thought right underneath that I can step into and truly believe. Same thing when you just find yourself like feeling frustrated with your business. Ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Okay. That's not serving you. Whatever you're thinking is not serving you, because whatever you're thinking is causing you to feel frustrated and kind of hopeless, and you're not going to then do anything to get out of that or take the right action. Or if you even take the right action, you're not taking it from the right mental space, so you're not going to get the result that you want to get. So use your feelings as a barometer of your thoughts.
Oh my gosh. I love the way you just said that. Say it
Oh,
again.
use your feelings as a barometer of your thoughts. I've always said that. Have you never heard that before? You
I
can
don't know, that
feel it.
just hit different right now. I
Yeah.
love that because we have lots of thoughts and some of them serve us and some of them don't. How would you know? How could you discern? Oh, you check in
Yeah.
with your body, with your feelings, and if it feels good, because it's not as straightforward as saying, oh, that's a negative or positive thought.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
right. That's not how it works, because some might sound different and some people are motivated differently. So
Well,
I
and
was
words
talking to
carry different things where you could tell like somebody, oh, for instance, I did not identify with the word nurturer.
Mm.
Like if somebody said you're nurturing, it'd be like, oh, hell no. I mean, I am though. I have 8,000 animals. Like I am, but that word like carried different emotion than other people might. So for that reason, the same thought might hit totally different for two different people.
For sure.
So yeah, because different words carry different emotions for ourselves because of things that we've tied to different words and made them mean in our own personal life. So
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah, use that when you use that line that, your thoughts are a barometer for, or your feelings are a barometer for your thoughts. I would like you to attribute it to Action Girl.
100%. This is from
Okay,
Action
very good.
Girl AG.
Excellent. All right. So some of the thoughts that we looked at last episode, if you didn't listen, go back. It's just the episode right prior to this. We talked about that won't work in my market. My prices are already too high. That's why no one's booking. I don't have a studio. I'm not as experienced and talented as others. I can't compete with the low prices that others are offering. So if any of those hit with you and you didn't listen to the last one, go back, listen to the last episode. Now we're going to dive into 5 new ones. Number 1 being, I need a bigger audience first. Like I need more people on my email list before I can market this, or I need a bigger audience.
Oh, really? How do you know that?
That's just what you say. Every single one of these I say, you just add, how do you know?
Because it's made up crap,
It is. It is. It is. Yeah. No, I think this stems from a lot of people. I think this actually can start to kind of turn. I hear this a lot when people are talking about their email list, and I ask them, do you have an email list? And they're like, yeah, but there's like 20 people. I'm like, that's 20 people. Imagine
right.
20 people in a room with you that said, I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah, if you compare it to somebody that has 10,000 people on their email list, it feels small and insignificant, but it's still 20 actual humans.
Well, yeah, but I need to beep back
Yeah.
up for a second. That's making the assumption that the size of the list matters.
Yeah, true.
I just don't believe that. So let me ask you, when you started your business, did you have an email list?
No, well, I mean, I made one, but I didn't have one.
How far like out of the gate did you start that?
Oh gosh, pretty darn early.
Yeah.
I knew it was an important marketing avenue. I mean, quite frankly, I think that is your most important marketing strategy.
I agree. I am pro email list. We're actually working on it in Elevate right now about lead magnets and getting people on
Yeah.
your list and driving traffic with SEO. Like that's something we're focused on. However, and also I will say that when I started my business in 2003, it was not a thing. So I did not even know to do it. I had no list. I had no followers because social media did not exist.
Right? Yeah, right.
So everything I had was a big fat 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I had none of those things.
So how'd you get clients?
Oh, this is going to surprise you. I got out into the community. I met people. I talked to them, told them what I did, and ultimately made them offers. And I built a 6-figure business that way before any of that existed. So
Mhm.
I think I mean, my gosh, having an email list and social media is such a huge advantage. I love it. And I support that. I teach that, obviously. But I also know that it's possible to do it without a huge list.
Mhm.
So if you don't have an email list, I think you're fine. If you do and it has a couple people and 2 of those are your parents, and then you have 20, I think that's great. You have a huge advantage. I'm pretty positive that you could structure this any way that you want and make it work up to a 6-figure business. I think it'll be easier for you if you have an email list and
Mhm.
5 people following you on social media. But I'm not going to make this connection, which I think is maybe erroneous, that I need a bigger list of people in order to grow my business, because I didn't. So that tells me it's possible.
Yeah. I think the key is you need to get in front of more people, make more offers.
Period.
That's it. And whatever way that looks like.
Yes.
And I do agree that an email list would behoove you to be beneficial.
Yeah, it's the
For
first
sure.
thing I think you should
Yeah.
try to work on is
Yeah.
getting, even if you had 1 or 2 clients that you just, even if they were friends and you put them on your email, yes, I think that would behoove you.
Yeah. All right. I love it. Okay. Let's do, oh, this is one of my favorites. Actually, I'm going to save this one. I'm reordering. All right.
Oh,
How about
okay.
next? I'm not good at sales and marketing.
Like, how do you know that? What do you mean?
I'm just not good at it.
How,
Maybe
what's
it comes
your,
from I don't know what to do, or I've tried it and it didn't work, didn't get the results that I wanted. So now I'm just labeling myself as not good.
okay, first of all, good news. You have an unlimited number of attempts to practice. So,
I don't have to stop after 3.
no,
I don't get
nobody's,
struck out.
no, it's not like you're playing Pac-Man and you die, you get eaten by the little ghosts and you're like 3, whatever it was, I don't remember. Like you get, yeah, 3 lives and then you're dead. Like that's not how it works. You have an unlimited number of attempts to get better and figure this out. And what if you just rephrased that statement to, I'm new at this.
I'm learning.
I'm learning.
I'm improving.
I'm improving. I'm learning. I'm getting better. I have Heather, Nicole. I have the interwebs. I have a plethora of resources and I can learn anything. That to me feels hopeful and better than I'm not good at this. And by the way, that might even be true. Like I'm not even denying it, but I'm just saying it doesn't feel good to think it. So I'm going to think, oh, it's just like the first time you picked up a camera. I would have to assume those first few shots weren't that great. But you kept practicing, unlimited number of attempts to get better, and you got better. So I think that people say that and stick to it because it's tied to money. Because I have to wonder, if it wasn't tied to money and it was just like, oh, like learning the camera, that it wouldn't be as maybe triggering.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think it would be as confronting.
That's it.
Because when you say, oh, I'm not good at camera yet, or like you kind of laugh about it, like, oh, yeah, and actually, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, I'm not good at taking photos. They'll just say, oh, I'm still learning.
Yeah. Right.
But with sales or marketing or business type things, they just go straight to, I'm not good at numbers. I'm not good at sales.
Oof.
I'm not good at marketing. Because again, it goes back to that first one that we talked about, that won't work in my market. It gives them a carte blanche
Yeah.
card of like, I'm not good at this, so therefore nothing will change. So like, this is why it's not my fault. I'm just not good at this. This is just how I'm born. I'm just not good at this. So therefore I'm off the hook of trying.
Well, and let me tell you, if somebody says that to me, I'm like, okay, then what are we doing here? Like if you really believe that and you think that you can't get better, then I guess we're just gonna, close it up and call it a day. Like,
Yeah, then
why
yeah.
would you talk to us, listen to this, join Elevate, well, any of it? Why would you do that if you really believe that you can't learn this? Or could you, maybe what you're saying is, I don't know how to do IPS yet, and I'm learning how to market my business. But what if you said, like, I'm going to figure out a way to do this that I understand, that works for me? Listen, I always said you're really good at creating very complex, complicated systems. You can see about 55 steps ahead. Like you're really good with that. And I am ridiculously simple. I am like the simpleton of the group. You have to dumb it down. I said, I don't know when. I said this to you at some point. I was like, talk to me like I'm a fourth grader. Okay. I don't even understand what you're saying. And so because of that, I was always like, well, I'm just going to figure out how this works for me. And then if I want to add on to it or, improve or I don't know, whatever that looks like, then I can always do that. So, what's the simplest version that I feel I could execute right now? And then with the full belief that, of course, there's going to be more to learn in the future. But it doesn't mean I'm not good at it. It's like saying I'm not good at surgery. Well, like, I've never held a scalpel, okay? I've never dealt with somebody in anesthesia in the operating room ever, unless it was me. So, why would I even say that? I've just never done it. But if I decided I wanted to be a surgeon, then obviously I need to go to medical school and learn it. Right. So that's the same thing.
Yeah. I think we need to be really careful about what we label ourselves as, because I think people just jump to these kind of self-effacing, like, oh, I'm just not good at this. And I don't know if that comes from, maybe it was like there's some earlier thought that it's rude to say you're good at something, that it's like
Like you're
boastful,
bragging.
that there could be so many reasons why you just default to this. Well, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at business. I just want to take pictures. But listen, if you want to run a business, you need to learn sales and marketing. Period. Done. And so can we just shift that? Can we outlaw here in freedom focus land that you are not allowed to say, I'm not good at something?
Yes.
Just period. Done. Won't accept it. How about instead, I'm learning. I'm getting better.
I love it.
I'm new to. That's
Can
fine.
I add to
Anyone
that
knows that's
list of
fine.
what we're not allowed to say here, Freedom
Yes.
Focus Formula? Yeah. We're not allowed to say, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, because that just blocks all creativity and possibility. So you
Yep.
can't say you're bad at something and you can't say you don't know.
Can you say I don't know yet?
Yeah, or I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning. And
Yep.
that's not something that's currently in my wheelhouse. But you can read and you can watch videos, which means you can learn anything you desire to improve upon.
Yep.
If you and I decided all of a sudden we're going to become gourmet chefs for our families, which is hilarious because neither one of us want to do
That is
it.
hilarious because my goal one day is just have a private chef that
Right.
I
Do
never
it.
have to touch the kitchen again.
But if you decided you wanted to do that or figure it out, could you?
Yeah.
100%. You would take a class, you'd read a recipe, you'd watch some videos, you'd join a group, and you would be making whatever.
Let's make this real clear. Heather, I can't touch my toes. So I could say I'm not flexible.
Oh.
But is it not also true that if I stretched every day that I would get better?
Yep.
100%.
You can improve your flexibility, and you know that.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example because you can improve upon anything with practice and desire and belief.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on. Clients only care about digital files, not prints or albums.
How do you know that?
Because people tell me they just want the digitals.
Oh, all the people on the planet Earth.
The entire Earth.
Yeah, right. I would love to see the study that you conducted and the data points that you have to prove that. Like you're just making that up. That is a story, that is a narrative that is somehow serving you, making you feel better about the fact that you haven't sold any albums.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that when people reach out to me, they're asking about digital files and then digital files are too expensive. So it kind of all goes to the other thing of just, see, they just wanted the digital.
Yes. Yeah. And just because you got a couple of emails, like 2 from people that saying, oh, I just wanted the digitals and that's too expensive. You cannot make these generalized statements. Actually, I did a podcast episode on over generalizing, which is kind of a redundant statement, but you generalize it like everybody is thinking that, nobody wants wall art. They all want digital files because one person asked you once. Or, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. 2 people asked you. And so you're saying, well, that's everyone. And I'm saying, no, that was just those 2 people. There are other people out there that are ready, willing, and able to pay for artwork and for albums. And I know this because some of my higher end clients would actually order like prints through me when they got the files. And I had one of them say to me once, she was like, Heather, I am not a tech person. I don't understand it. I don't want to do it. I don't know what any of that means. I just want to pay you to handle it. And she knew she was paying like 4 times the price. And she didn't care because she wanted me to do it for her. That's service. They're paying for service. Yeah, right.
Yeah. If there's 2 things that higher end markets value, it is saving time and making their life easier.
Yep.
So being able to have that service helps significantly.
She's willing to pay for it because she did not want to take the time or deal with the frustration of having to upload her photos to a service and order them. I was like, I would give them a release that said, that they, for personal use only, blah, 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 all the things. And then I recommended MPICs for their photos because I was color corrected with them at the time. And she was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, okay.
I'll help you.
All right. I will gladly place your order for 4 times the cost.
I love it. I love it. All right. So this next one, I feel like we can go down quite the rabbit hole. And that is, I just need to find the right marketing trick.
Yeah. You know what? People, they honestly come to me as if I'm withholding something from them. Like
Now that you joined Elevate, I'm going to tell you the super secret way that we actually get clients that we've never told anyone else.
Right. It's super secret. It's like lock and key. You've got to get in the safe with the combination. And then they look at me kind of like, I don't know, confused, upset, like, wait, I thought that you had the one super duper trick in order to market my business. And then this was interesting. I had someone join recently and she said, as she was going through the training, she was like, it was actually really affirming to me because I was like, oh, I knew all of this. But I needed to hear it from an authority so that I could feel better about implementing it. And I'm like, hey, whatever it takes, I guess. But, how could you learn to trust yourself and trust that you have currently all of the information you need to make something happen, anything at whatever level? So this is a trust issue. I think this is like, I'm not missing something. Missing is like, there's a void and I've got to find it. And I must admit this happened to me last year. I signed up for yet another Facebook ads course. I spent $2,000 like again. Okay. So this is multiple times. And I was going through it and I told you this. I was like, well, that course certainly affirmed that I actually do know what I'm doing. And I picked up a few little tips and tricks. So by the way, no matter what I spend on education, I decide to get what I came for and make it worthwhile. So I did not look at that $2,000 as like, oh, shoot, man, I knew all that. I wasted money. False. Because I learned to trust myself and that's worth something. That's not nothing. I learned to trust myself, got a few tips and I was like, okay, that was worth it. That alone was worth it. That like spike in confidence. So now I can run Facebook ads like fairly confidently. The next step for me is like getting over the hurdle of like money, how much I'm going to put into it. But that's like a money issue, not like, I don't know Facebook ads. So the point there is like, could you just trust that you have everything you need at this time to execute based on where you're at in your journey? It's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the other thing that this allows people to do is, since they're searching for the holy grail marketing trick, it allows them not to take action on the marketing they already know.
Yes. Yeah. Because you don't have it yet.
This isn't really right. There's certainly something better. So I think it's a combination of that FOMO feeling like, oh, am I missing out? Like, am I missing the one thing that is going to change my business? And also a combination of like, oh, but this allows me to stay safe and not take action.
Yes. That is a very good point.
Yes. So get out there and just freaking do something, guys. Yeah. And here's the thing too, with these different marketing strategies, action girl, reporting for duty, they're not all going to work for your business.
It's true.
You're going to see someone have major success with a certain type of marketing strategy, and then you might try to implement it and it's not the right fit for your audience, or for your business, or you might not really be into it. Therefore, the energy you're putting out into that marketing strategy is not going to actually get the results that you want. Whereas then there's this other marketing strategy over here that maybe is your secret marketing strategy that is going to work really well for you because it's aligned with your business and your values. And so there really honestly is nothing. There is not one thing out there that will work for every single business.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah. You
But
just
it's
have
true.
to.
And and what's the key there in what you're saying? That is like, if I try the strategy that Nicole or Jess told me to do
Mhm.
and it doesn't work, here's what people tend to do. It's like, see, I'm broken. I don't know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I need to be fixed or whatever. When the truth is, okay, maybe that wasn't a right fit for me in my market, which leads me back again to I have an unlimited number of attempts to try an unlimited number of things to figure out what works. But,
Mhm.
the first time you see Jess has so much success with one of her approaches and you're like, oh my gosh, she's killing it. It worked for her. I did everything she said and it doesn't work for me. And they start to feel so defeated. They
Mhm.
feel defeated because the thought is something's wrong with me. I don't know what I'm doing. Instead of, oh, that's so interesting. Like getting curious. It's so interesting. That didn't work. Okay. So what? I'm going to try this next thing and this next thing. And I'm not going to make it mean anything about
Yep.
me or my business.
Yeah, I would also like to add that I see too many people give up on one thing because it didn't work as they expected the first time. Where maybe it is the way that's going to work really well for your business, but you just need to do it 2 or 3 times. So I think there takes some discernment after you try a new marketing strategy to be like, okay, did that just feel totally not aligned with this business? Like maybe they're like a value mismatch, like 100% move on, do something else. But if you're like, ah, man, I still feel like this has legs, I feel like this can work. Okay. Was it your messaging? Like, where did the process break down? Did you not get enough leads in? Did you not get enough leads converted? Did people not purchase once they converted? Like, where can you focus on having improvement and run it again and try to improve that one piece? So then you start to build it. Like, you look at Jess and her calendar contest. She's been doing this, I think, 7 years now. So obviously it's going to get bigger and better usually each
Yes.
time because she continues to improve it each time. So yeah, I see people give up way too easily because it quote didn't work. And I see people give up too easily even when it did work. So maybe they did a marketing strategy. Like my favorite one is like these charitable marketing session fee fundraisers where I partner with a charity and offer something special to their supporters. I get regular clients, the charity gets money, the supporters love me because I'm helping their charity. Like it's a win-win all around. And I would have people do that and they're like, oh, it's great, Nicole, but I only got 2 clients. It's like, well, yeah.
Totally.
Did you
Right.
think you were going to fill your entire calendar? Like it cost you nothing to make this partnership other than creating the materials. And now guess what? You have the materials. You can go and do this every single month with a new charity partner. Like I think a lot of times people are quick to judge and label something that's not working when it does, or
Ooh.
when they just need to do it again and tweak it and continue to improve it.
And you got 2 clients right now, but what about all of the seeds that you
Oh,
planted with
100%.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah. That you might get 5 clients next
Mhm.
year that came from that and you don't even know it. I had
Mhm.
somebody tell me yesterday, "Well, but Heather, the truth is I've had 0 inquiries this year. It's just been 0. It's been empty." And I said, "Okay. So in the circumstance line, we're going to put 0 inquiries." And she paused and she said, "Well, there were those 2." And then we're talking and a minute later, and she said, actually, there was 3. And I got one yesterday. And I was like, okay, how about we start with the truth? Give me the data on what's actually, because a minute ago you said 0 inquiries for the year. Now you're telling me 4.
Mhm.
So something is working. You just didn't think it was working, or it wasn't working to the extent that you had hoped, which is
Mhm.
fair, but something is working. And when something is working, we have data to like dive into and look at so that we can improve it. But yeah, 0 to 4.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I see that happening all the time where people are just like, "Oh, I don't get it." Yeah, that's the classic one. I haven't gotten any inquiries. Any? Well, like 5. Okay.
5 is a lot.
And our brain likes to focus again on that gap of, oh, I want a full calendar and I've only had 5, so I'm not getting quote any because it's not to where I want to be getting them. So it's really easy to let our brain tell us that when if instead we actually look at oh no, count them. How many inquiries? Okay, that's not none. Where did they come from? Start to get curious about the data and try other things and look at the data to make the judgment. And it's not even a judgment. Look at the data to get the results to tell you if you want to continue kind of focusing on this or not, or move.
Well, this
to
is
another.
something actually you're really good at, which is looking at the data and emotionally, you're unemotional, meaning you emotionally detach yourself, and you're like, what are these numbers telling me? And I'm not going to make it mean I'm awesome or that I'm a loser. It's just like, this is so, again, back to curiosity. This is so interesting. This came from here, that came from there. Okay, well, how could we improve on that? Tweak that a little bit. Something James has taught us, is it what's he called? The debrief, yeah, looking at all of the different areas of your marketing to see, well, this actually did work and I need to improve on that. But be really careful when you start to get caught up emotionally in these numbers. That might mean you need to take a break, step back and say, how can I look at this? You know what I want to develop? Oh my gosh, you need to do this. We need to do this for your store, your merchandise store, where you can order a lab coat and safety goggles. And you're coming
and an action
in.
girl cape?
Yeah, and a cape. And you're coming in as a scientist. No, this is how it goes. Okay, I got this. Stay with me. You come in, you put on your lab coat and your safety goggles and your hard hat, and you I'm the scientist. I'm just going to look at this data and separate it out. What's this? Okay. Then once I feel good about my analytics, I've looked at it. Now I know what to do. I'm going to switch out to that, put on my action girl cape, and I'm going to fly out the door and I'm going to go meet people. That's it. Done.
I love it. It's excellent. Yeah. No, and you have to do that. I mean, this, to give you an example of something that happened at Freedom Focus Land recently, was around November, December. Apple changed the iOS to no longer automatically download podcast episodes. So all of a sudden, my podcast numbers were cut in half, and I was like, "What happened?" And all of my mastermind friends were going through the same thing. And then one of us mentioned something at one point and they're like, me too, me too, me too. And then we all realized, we're like, oh, it was because the Apple iOS changed. It had nothing to do with any of our businesses, but you can look at those numbers and immediately go to, oh, what has happened? Did I do an episode that everybody hated? And it's like,
they all bounced.
Yeah, they're all like, see ya, I'm not listening to you anymore, I'm out. So it's really easy to see a little bit of data and just let our brain fill in the reason, but you just need to explore it.
Imagine. Yeah.
Shocking. In your cape, or no, goggles and lab coat. Cape
I'm doing it.
Later.
Yeah.
All right, we've got one more, but we're already at 33 minutes. And
yeah, and this last one
is pretty, doozy, huh?
Yeah, this last one is pretty important to me. So I would like to do a third part to this if that would be okay.
You guys are getting a 3-parter for this one because you guys, this content is so important because literally I would venture to guess 99.9% of you that are not getting the results that you want are because of one of these 10 thoughts, if not several.
It's just a thought. Imagine that. What if you could shift one thought? I always say you are one thought away from a completely different business.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. So the last thought we're going to tackle on its whole episode all by itself, because it needs a whole episode by itself, is I need to perfect my skills before I can charge, period or more.
I can't wait to get into this with you.
All right. So in this episode, just to recap, if you are thinking that you need more followers or a bigger audience first, that you're not good at sales or marketing, that clients only care about digital files, not prints or albums, you just need the right marketing trick, go back and listen, find yourself a new thought. Let's change that. And then come back next week. We're going to dive into the fact, or the thought, not a fact, the thought that you need to perfect your skills before you can charge. See you then.